COP26.
COP26.
We're just weeks away now from COP26.
Oh. You've probably heard the words COP26 quite a lot by now.
It is crucial that these meetings in Glasgow have success.
The climate conference will see tens of thousands of people from almost every country arrive in Glasgow to witness supposedly historic agreements on climate change.
197 countries are gearing up to attend. It is the biggest climate event since the Paris Agreement was signed in 2015.
COP stands for Conference of the Parties. The United Nations have been holding climate change summits for the last 3 decades, and this will be the 26th. They are attended by heads of state, climate experts and campaigners, and their purpose is to produce an international response to the climate emergency. The UK will co-host the 12-day event with Italy and take over Glasgow's SEC Centre.
We either rise up and tackle climate change together, or else we sink together into the mire. This year at COP26 will be the moment at which the world chooses which of those two fates awaits us.
To understand why COP26 is so important, we need to look back at COP21, which is when the Paris Agreement was signed in 2015.
The Paris summit was the largest gathering of world leaders in history. For the first time ever, nearly every country on Earth agreed to work together to limit global warming to well below 2 degrees.
We do need to take action this year and make sure that at COP26 we are able to credibly say that we have kept 1.5 degrees alive.
The UN has said without drastic action, the world is on course to break through that target within a decade.
Crucially, when all those countries signed the Paris Agreement, they didn't have to say exactly what they do to meet their commitments.
At COP26, they'll have to present their plans, known as Nationally Determined Contributions, or NDCs. The success of the conference will be judged by how ambitious and binding these plans are. World leaders, climate experts and activists are expected to attend this year's climate summit. America said COP26 must be pivotal in tackling climate change.
A pivotal moment for the world to come together to meet and master the climate challenge.
Having withdrawn from the Paris Agreement under Donald Trump,
the Paris Accord would undermine our economy and put us at a permanent disadvantage. It is time to exit the Paris Accord.
The US is expected to play a leading role at COP26 under Joe Biden.
We've already waited too long to deal with this climate crisis.
Who returned America to the Paris Accord hours after becoming president.
Today, the United States is officially, once again, a party to the Paris Agreement, which we helped put together.
The US and China have butted heads in the months leading up to COP26.
We understand that there are problems in the relations between the US and China.
A stalemate between the two superpowers emerged as America called on China to be more ambitious with its targets.
But those problems do not interfere with the needs to do everything possible to make sure that the COP is a success.
China is the world's biggest greenhouse gas emitter, but insists it will pursue its own climate goals and become carbon neutral by 2060. We can also expect to see some famous faces at this year's climate summit, with the Queen and the Pope in attendance.
You worry about the future of the planet and what kind of a world we will leave for future generations.
From Her Majesty to climate royalty, Greta Thunberg had previously said she wouldn't attend COP26 due to safety concerns and COVID-19 vaccination distribution.
What do we want? When do we want it?
But the face of climate change has changed her mind and is likely to play a key role at the conference. It's on the school holiday, so I don't have to take time off.
Climate finance will be a sticking point at COP26. Generally speaking, the world's richest nations have done the most to cause the climate crisis, which is experienced most severely by poorer nations.
A group of industrialised countries, including the UK and US, promised to help developing countries tackle climate change in 2009, but they missed their targets.
Those funds were promised to arrive by 2020, and we are still waiting.
Some think finding solutions to supporting more climate-vulnerable nations will be the key factor in the success of COP26.
But the main issue will be whether what is agreed at COP26 will be enough to limit the worst impacts of global warming. Countries like India and Australia And China and South Africa are still struggling to agree on how to phase out coal and whether or not they should come forward with better, more enhanced ambitions for reducing carbon emissions.
About 10,000 officers from around the UK will police each day of COP26, making it one of the biggest operations of its kind in Britain. The cost of policing the event has been estimated at around £250 million. Police are expecting the potentially historic event to be the focus of large-scale demonstrations. They have been taking part in role-play exercises to recreate protests ahead of COP26.
If COP26 goes well, there could be new alliances, new emissions targets, new financial commitments made, and that would be real progress. It's why there's such pressure on COP26 and why it's been described as the world's last best hope to limit global warming.